Now let's talk a little bit about, I don't know if you saw this finalized list of the people who are still potentially going to be his vice president.
Yeah.
But they dropped a list, and we wanted to go through it and do a little bit of a ranking for you.
Okay.
Right?
So here I have it if you want me to lay it out.
I have it here too, but you can go ahead.
Okay, so these are the people that he sent vice presidential vetting paperwork to.
Yes.
So indicative of like, all right, these are the ones we're serious about. You got Doug Burgum, little Burgumentum.
Okay, negative charisma.
You remember I interviewed him. Not only negative charisma,
he's
but
a mannequin.
Negative ability to respond to even a remotely challenging question. That interview was a mess.
He is a wax statue with a turtle brain in his head.
I really would recommend you go back because it was astonishing. Our jaws were on the floor afterwards. He's this billionaire, successful tech executive governor. Whatever. You would think he would have something going, but anyway, that's one.
Can I tell you why Trump likes him?
I know why. The money.
And because he has zero charisma and will never outshine him.
So let's go through the list, and then I'll talk. I'm actually sort of talking. When I first heard Doug Burgum was being seriously considered, first of all, I didn't really believe it. And second of all, I was like, it's not going to be him. I'm sort of talking myself into him being a serious contender. We'll get into that in a minute. I'll just go through the list. Marco Rubio, JD Vance, Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and Ben Carson. So what's your overall reaction?
The Axios list has Tom Cotton on it. Did you say Tom
for
Cotton?
real?
Yeah.
That was not.
We have JD Vance, Doug Burgum, Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, Ben Carson, Elise Stefanik, Byron Donalds, Tom Cotton. Oh. That's the final 8 they have here.
Yeah, AP didn't have that one.
I have a list of 7 over there.
Yep.
All right, so
Tom Cotton is terrifying. Terrifying.
Of course. We'll get back to him. Number 1 on the list that I think is most likely?
Yeah.
Elise Stefanik. So I was 100% for Kristi Noem was going to be it. 100%. But then it came out that what happened? She fucked her dog or something. What'd she do to her dog? Jacked it off.
She killed her dog.
She
murdered her puppy.
She jacked off her dog and then killed it. We'll settle on that.
She murdered a goat too. No one cares about the poor goat.
Jacked it off first, then killed it. There's some with a dog. That's all you need to know. So anyway, I thought it was going to be her. I was convinced it was going to be her.
Yeah.
And the reasons are, of course, she's attractive. He likes that. She has no charisma. He likes that. And she's ruthlessly loyal, even early on in the process.
Yeah.
And she was with Corey Lewandowski having an affair, who was Trump's right-hand man.
Yeah. I thought that her problem started before the killing the dog incident with the book that she put out that she was like proud of and advertised to the world. The other issue for her is that she is governor of a state, South Dakota, that has a personhood, very restrictive abortion bans. And I had seen some reporting, which I give some credence to, that Trump basically crossed anybody like that off the list because he knows abortion is a real weak spot for him. So she would be a liability in that regard. And I do think he's very strategic about how he thinks about this potential DP.
Oh, he definitely is. So the reason I think he's going with Elise Stefanik, number 1, I think he definitely wants a woman. I think he definitely wants a woman.
Only woman on this list.
Only woman on this list. From New York. He likes that. And again, I don't think it's anybody who has the potential to outshine him, and apparently super, super, super loyal.
She's also been, she's a New York Republican. When she initially came in a spotlight, she was positioning herself as a moderate. Then she's now rebranded as total Trump loyalist and all her anti-Semitism.
And by the way, who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? Oh, I am a moderate. Actually, I'm a Democrat. And then, I'm turning Republican as I get older. That's Trump. Trump did the same thing. He used to be a Democrat.
So if he picks Elise Stefanik, I think abortion would be a big part of that. Just having a woman on the ticket,
appealing to women,
a little more moderate,
suburban.
I don't know everything she said on abortion, but she's tried to position herself more moderately on that. So that would be the case for her.
Right. So anyway, I think it's going to be her. Do you have a number 1?
I don't have a number 1. I don't pretend to really be inside of Trump's head, but I'll tell you why I'm giving more credence to the Doug Burgum idea than I was previously. And it's because of all these reports of how desperate Trump is to, suck up all the Wall Street and billionaire cash you possibly can. And so with the Pence pick last time around, he knew he needed this more solid support from the evangelical base because at that point they were a little bit skeptical. He wasn't their guy in the primaries, et cetera. And so Mike Pence is the guy he plugs in. Now you have Wall Street already becoming, to those of the Wall Street titans who were skeptical of him before because of the potential for chaos have really warmed to him. They hate the Biden antitrust moves. They want their tax cuts, which are up for renewal in 2025. And so to the extent that it's really a priority for him to make sure he gets that cash, and send a signal of like, hey, you don't have to worry about me, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, et cetera. Doug Burgum is a good choice for that. He was a Microsoft executive, so he's known in Silicon Valley. He's very standard issue, Reaganite type conservative politician. He's never positioned himself as any kind of a populist or anything outside of just total business mainstream orthodoxy. And so if that's the priority for Trump, I think Burgum would be the pick. And I could see that. He needs the money. Yeah.
That's fair. I would just counter with, at this point, I think they're going to give the money to Trump anyway. I think all those Wall Street ghouls are going to fucking line up and dump cash on his head. So JD Vance, doughy weasel boy.
I don't think that's
utter
one
loser.
That I think him and Tom Cotton, I don't see, because I just don't see what they add for Trump. You know, like what coalition could they bring?
Also,
what piece did they bring to the? I just don't see.
They are massive. Okay, JD Vance is a massive cuck. Like this dude didn't used to be a Democrat who was on CNN.
I don't know, he's a Democrat. He wrote that book, and he was sort of like the white working class whisperer on CNN, and then he was very critical of Trump. And then
super
the minute he
Trump
wants to run for office, he's just, sick of it. And Trump even called him out for that publicly, which,
he's a doughy
the part really stick.
Doughy weasel boy. And also, he wears eyeliner. Have you noticed that?
No.
He wears eyeliner. Now, it's not a problem if somebody wears eyeliner and they rep it and they own it. And it's like, yeah, I wear eyeliner. What? Fuck off. But the motherfucker, he's trying to hide it. Like who?
I got to look this
Who
up.
you think you're getting this by, bro?
But for me, those points are all quite valid.
Doughy weasel boy is the most good one.
I just don't see what he adds. Like if Trump wants to win, obviously. Not only because he wants to win, but also because he wants to stay out of prison. And if he doesn't win the presidency, he has a real chance at actually having to serve some jail time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So this is existential for him. And I do think he will be very strategic. And I can't see what either of those people even theoretically add electorally.
I'm surprised Trump Jr. is not on the list. Don Jr. Because then if Trump ever goes to prison, I'm going to pardon you. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff.
Yeah.
Tom Cotton, my commentary on him, giraffe neck, and literally the most authoritarian person in the entire fucking country.
He is I don't use the term fascist a lot. He is a fascist.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Every solution is police crackdown, military, throw protesters off of bridges, rip their skin off. Remember that? I mean, he's one of the isn't he one of the drone strike the cartel, military invasion of
never met a war he didn't like, all that stuff.
Complete psycho. To me, he is the most terrifying politician in DC, currently elected politician in DC. But I don't think he'll get picked because of the same reason.
No, he's not
Vance,
getting picked. He's not getting picked.
I just don't. I mean, he represents Arkansas. You're going to win Arkansas. What does he add to the table in terms of a coalition?
Yeah. Byron Donalds is a massive opportunist, a young black Republican. I think he loves the cameras too much. I think the only reason why he's even on this list is for Trump to try to make it appear like he's, I have a diverse list.
Yeah.
I am not racist. Look, I have multiple black people on the list.
He has 3 black men on the list. He's got Ben Carson, Byron Donalds, and Tim Scott.
Of the 3, Tim Scott's obviously the most likely.
I'm not sure. Really?
What does Ben Carson bring? He's got so much baggage of so many insane things he said when he ran for president.
He had, I don't know if this is still the case, but he had more organic credibility in the black community than Tim Scott ever had.
Not anymore.
And he was a genuine icon here. He was well known. He was famous. He was looked up to. And, Trump is old and his frame of reference is outdated. So he may think that Ben Carson still has that kind of purchase. And
he does not.
And so if his play, which again, I think this is racist, I don't think it bears down. It certainly didn't, really work out for Democrats with regard to putting Kamala Harris on the ticket. But if the idea is I'll add a black man on the ticket and that will help me get more black voters, especially more black men voters who have trended some away from the Democratic Party and relatively small numbers also into the Trump camp. If that's your calculus, I don't think Byron Donald, I put him at the bottom of the 3, but I could see Ben Carson. I can see why Trump put Ben Carson on this list.
It just occurred to me as you were talking there that I think he put Marco Rubio on the list to be look, A Hispanic.
Yeah. Absolutely. Of course he did. I mean, it's blatant identity, but of course.
It's so hilarious. It's like we got Byron Donalds. I don't think he has a chance. Ben Carson, I don't think he has a chance. Tim Scott maybe has a chance. But look, 3 black people and a Hispanic.
Well,
Marco Rubio.
I don't think
look,
it's
guys,
just about
Waterboy.
Yeah. Do you think Marco Rubio has any chance of getting picked?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course. And him and Trump have a long history of them shitting on each other in debates and whatnot.
I don't see Marco Rubio. I mean,
this is a virtue signal list. This is a virtue signal list.
So like embarrassing and awkward.
I know he's the water boy.
I mean, yeah, Trump knows he doesn't have little Marco, right? He knows he doesn't have what it takes for prime time. And, he doesn't want someone who's going to outshine him, but he doesn't want someone embarrassing. And Marco Rubio has the potential to be embarrassing, as we've seen at other times.
So I'll go Elise Stefanik, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go Tim Scott.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I can't get inside that man's brain.